Welcome to my first stream. Today I will be showing my setup for streaming. I hope to develop it over time and make changes to it as I go. So it looks like we have our first comment. Hey Mark, how's it going? Yeah, this is happening. For today, I'm just gonna show my stream, like my setup, and seeing how things work. Just like a bit of behind the scenes of like what I'm using for the stream and like some of the tools I'm gonna be building. For example, like the welcome page, I need to make it better because you could barely see what it says. And it will be helpful to have like a timer or something saying like when the stream will start. So I'm going to be showing some of that stuff today, and then yeah, I'm going to show up my setup and like what I'm using for streaming just in general. So I'm using OBS, which is the streaming tool that I use, which is doing this weird thing because I'm streaming it while streaming it. So the goal here is to be able to just like you have different audio sources. So for example, I have like my music. So the music you're hearing, you could see it playing here, and like I could turn it off here. I could also change the volume for it as I go, but I want to keep it low so you guys could hear me. And then you have different scenes that you could see. So for example, the one I was playing before was the starting soon, which is this scene, which is just a web page in OBS. Then you could have like this one here, which is what the tool that I'm using on my Chromebook that I have. So I'm using that to be able to it looks like there's a big echo going on, so let's see if I could fix it. Give me a second. Oh wait, might not be an issue. Can you guys hear me? Like, do you hear me fine? Okay. Someone is hearing an echo. It looks like it's only them. Cool. How does my screen look? Like, is the resolution correct? Do you guys? Is it too big? Too small? Can you see like what is in my screen right now? Cool. That's good to hear. I'm glad that it's only one person having this issue. I try to different setups for the audio because I am using a headset for my audio, so I want to make sure that you guys can hear me correctly. Cool. Okay, so this is the way I'm managing the stream. So this is being used in my Chromebook. So I have a Chromebook which has the same website, which then I'm able to change the different scenes that I have. So for example, I could show you my terminal just by pressing on it. I could show you my browser. I could share the browser, and then so I could manage the different settings here. One thing that is not showing here is that I'm also able to manage the audio as well from here. So I'm able to, for example, increase the music, decrease it. So I'm able to do all that stuff. So that's a cool thing about this setup. And then I'm using something else, which let me get to it. So I'm using something called a loopback, which is used for managing the different loopback devices. So here I have only two channels. So I have a channel for the music that you guys are hearing, and then I have a one for Chrome, which is off right now, which is not streaming anywhere. So you guys cannot hear what I'm hearing, just so I don't like bombard you with like notifications from Chrome. But this one here is like, it's very expensive. It's $100, so I haven't paid for it. So if you guys start hearing like a hissing sound, it's because I have run out of the trial and I have to turn it on and turn it back on. So it's like one of those things that you have to turn on back on. So that's kind of like how the audio setup works. And then for this one here, you're able to control the audio. Like you could just make it as an audio device. So you're able to see, like, you're able to take that loopback device and attach it to OBS, and then you could stream the audio from it. So that's kind of the setup. One cool thing that I discovered is that you could use web pages for OBS. So you could just take a web page, right, and then you could just like stream it. For example, this one here, I'm able to take this page. Give me a second. And then I'm able to do something like this. And then like this is just a website. So I just made a website that's starting soon. So that means I could add CSS and JavaScript to it, and then it will be displayed on in the it will be part of the live stream too. So the goal for this, for the next couple of days or the next couple of streams, is to set up a nice streaming setup, right? Like this thing doesn't make any sense. Like starting soon, you barely could see it. So I want to make some CSS changes to it. I also want to start doing some like Go development, because I haven't done code development in the past, like I think like past year and a half ish, on and off. So I need to learn the syntax. So I created a basic, so I've been creating this thing called Kuma, which is just a framework that I've been messing around in the past couple of months. So it's just like something that I just do on and off. It's just like a way for me to be able to reuse Go libraries that I have reading over time. So for the goal here for these libraries, for me to be able to just reuse the best standards of the HTTP client for Go, without having to think about it all the time, because like there is some issues with some of the default settings for the client. So this changes. So this package here that I created is just like a wrapper of the HTTP client, and then being able to use it again. So that's kind of how this is gonna work out. I'm gonna open source this library in the next couple of maybe later today. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking some of the code that I'm using for the live stream, and I'm going to open source it, and then I'm going to open source the framework itself, so the utilities module that I'm going to be creating for like streaming, and also for like working on some side projects that I'm working on. So yeah, so that's kind of the setup, how I've been using it, and like the ideas, some of the things I've been bouncing around. So then there is another repo that I just created for this stream, where I want to keep all the code there. So there is this library, which is pretty much what it's serving. So this here, what you're seeing here, is being served by this tiny piece of Go code, but it's wrapping a server that I wrote, which is the default settings for now. But we're gonna build more on top of it as we go. For now, one thing I want to start doing maybe is like just messing with the CSS of the welcome page, because like it looks so bad. You could barely see anything there. So I want to make sure that the welcome page is done, and I want to make sure that the end screen is done, because I don't have one yet. So that it's just a blank page there. Yeah, so that's kind of the thing I'm going to be working on today. So I'm going to be doing that. So I'm going to be doing some CSS and some HTML just for now, and the goal is already there. Some of the cool stuff that I want to be able to do is like, it would be cool if for the welcome page I'm able to do some like cool like CSS animation, or like I haven't done CSS animation before, so it would be cool for me to be able to do that. Or if I'm able to do like some kind of timer, or like something that is able to so I want to do a timer, and I want to do some CSS on it. So most of the work is going to be mostly JavaScript and CSS for now. So let's get to it. So for the starting page, so I've been thinking about the colors for the stream. So let me take a look at this first. So for the stream itself, I have set a set of, I started with the initial color, and I want to take that initial color and then just like build like a kind of like around it. So that means that you need to find a color palette that matches that color, and then from there I'm able to do like the background for the stream, and I'm able to do like the different pieces of it. Another thing that I miss talking about is like one thing that I'm afraid of is showing like secrets. So when we start working on the Twitch API, when we start doing some work there, I'm gonna have to get like some secret keys and things like that, and I want to be able to hide it. So I have something called like a secret page or BRB page. So I have to do that too. So that's kind of how the stream is gonna go today. The stream is gonna be pretty much just me going through like making like some CSS changes and making sure that I'm that these things I'm showing you look very good. And let me know how my audio sounds, and let me know how my screen sounds, because I want to make sure that like with the current setup that I have, I am able to at least be heard by you guys and seen. So I'm trying to get the color. So there's a color picker in Twitch, in the Twitch client. So I'm trying to get that color that we had. So I could just find a color palette for it. Give me a nope. So now I'm like searching through a set of websites that generate color palettes. But the one that I want, there was one that I looked at before, which is like super helpful because I could just take the color that I have. So this is a color that I'm using in Twitch. So I just want to take that color and just find like a nice color palette generator. See if I could find it. And it shows you like the different colors, like what colors will go together the best. And then from those colors, you could you have your palette, and then you could overlap them together. So like, so it will be more interesting to like just like instead of like going and picking some random colors, you could just use this tool to be able to just like stack, just like stay in the same spectrum and the same colors that match each other. And then you don't have to worry about like if they don't, like you won't have to worry a bit about color theory or anything like that because like they do most of the work for you. But I cannot really find that website that I used. Let me see if I could find it somewhere else. So when we found the color palette, it's like we were able to then start like messing around with like different fonts too. So we could look into like some cool fonts that we could use for the stream too. Let's see. Let me try it. I think that. Oh yeah, it's like something like this. But this one gives you only 2 colors. The one that I was looking for gives you like 4 colors. So it gives you like all the like different colors that are connected to it. But yeah, this is kind of the thing I'm looking for. So that's the one that I'm looking for. It's like kind of almost the same as for the one that I'm looking for. Gives you like a whole like set of more color. It gives you 4 colors, and then I think it's called like square colors or something like that. And then you could just like use that to find the like you could. It's like pretty much all the colors that you sent me are pretty much the same. I think I found it. So let me check this out. Yeah, I think I found it. Okay, yeah. So it is this one. Yeah, so this is the website that I was looking for. It gives you like a nice set of colors. So this is a color that is my background is using, and like everything else is gonna be using. And then you have like the different spectrums and different shades for it, and then you have like the different color styles that you can use for it. So like you can use this blue. The one I was looking for was square, which has the color that I'm using, and then like a bit of purple and that. And that's kind of how it helps you figure out the color combinations. Like the harmony, yeah, it says it on top. So it helps you figure out the color harmonies, because the issue that happens is like if you use some different colors, they might not go together. So this is the one I use the most when I'm trying to look at things. I just don't have a bookmark for some reason. But yeah, so kind of the colors that we have for the stream is this one here. So it's called, let's see what it's called. It's Miranda or something like that. So the color itself then goes with like different shades of orange and yellowish and green, and then you could do like different combinations of the colors. So the one I was I think something like purple or red could be useful. So this is very helpful for web development too. So like you could create a brand book. So a brand book just defines like like the colors that you're gonna be using. So maybe that's why maybe something we should try it out. Will you guys be okay to do a brand book? So the brand book will be for the channel. It's something that is very useful when you're building a website, because if you have a brand book, that means you could stick to it as much as you can. So like even if you do like if you're doing, so you could have a brand book, it shows like which fonts you're gonna be using. It shows like the different places to use the headers, for example, like H1, H2, H3. So you could start building things like that. I think I have an example of a brand book. So let me find that sample of the brand book, and then we just like take that as an example. Yeah, so we could create a brand book for the stream, and that means we could use that brand book to be able to take it from there and like start developing different pieces of the stream. So like, give me a second. With the brand book itself, we could then like do like different, like it's going to be from the branding, so we could just look at different places and be like, okay, so if we do this, this is gonna look, this is how we think this different, like this, like the star of the stream should use this kind of font, and we should take this from here. So let me see if I could find one. Concepts. Nope. So I have a brand book somewhere, I just need to find it. There's also cool things, like I have a bunch of bookmarks that a friend gave me, where you could get like cool CSS like animations, not animations, but more like styling that I would have never thought it would be possible to be done with CSS. I think I found it. Give me a second, let me make sure I found it. Nope. Oh yeah, so if you hear the audio doing some weird things, it's because the 20 minutes have passed, and then it just starts hissing, and then I have to turn it off. But the software itself is $100. So for now, I just want to make sure that everything works well and like it's worth $100 before I invest $100 on it. But so far I like it. So it's called loopback. So it's this one here. So it's like it creates a virtual device, and then it sends audio through it, and then you could attach the virtual device to anything that you want. So I'm using a Mac right now, so it only works for the Mac. But for Windows, there's something else. Like you could use virtual cable and something else to be able to do it. Sorry, I'm still trying to find it. But if not, we could just like find, like we could just Google something and see how. Yeah, so let's just find something like brand book web development. See if we can find something helpful. I'm just looking at this the structure for it, because I always forget how the structure goes. Most of the time it has like the different colors. We just want to make a simple one, so we just want to have the different colors and like different fonts attached to it. Yeah, so it looks something like this. Okay, so I think I can use that one, but there is now one that has the font too. It would be cool to have fonts in it. Okay, we could go with the circular ones. Okay. Cool, let's just do that. So I'm just gonna create a new HTML file. Well, let's just copy this one and just call it brand. And then in here, I could just like take some of it. For now, I'm just gonna have the CSS in here too, which, let's see. cool. Give me a second. CSS. Okay. I'm just gonna stick the CSS here. So I'm gonna just stick the style here. So like for now, we don't want to change the organization to it, so we just want to make sure that we have it in one place. So let's do color 1. Let's do circle. So we're gonna do the circle, and then here we are just gonna add a circle, a class that just makes a circle, and then we're gonna make a new one that's gonna say color 1, and then we're gonna set the background to we could set it to our first color that we got from the branding website. Okay, so here we could just do, let's see if that worked. I'm not sure if I need to do double quotes or single quotes. Do you guys know? I am creating my CSS, so if you guys see that doesn't work, let me know, because like I can't remember if I have to wrap it in quotes. I haven't done that in so long. Okay, so we do spam and then class. We're gonna do that and then circle, and then we close it, and we could just try it out and see how it goes. So we could go back to our browser, and then here we could just do brand. I should put some text in there just to make sure that it's there. So let's put some text in here. And see how that goes. Oh, I might need to put that. Let's just use the Chrome tool for now, because it's way easier. Let's see, styling circle. So you just do background, color, and then we could just put our first color. So let's just get it from here again. Does it have the upper side? Okay. So we can use the dev tool to just build the whole thing, and then you can use the dev tool to be able to just like see it as we go. Okay, that did it. So now let's just make this circular. Let's see. Okay, so we could use radius for this. So we could do border. One thing that with the dev tool that I haven't gotten used to using it is just like that when you press tab, it just does some weird unexpected thing, like the way it jumps. And then we have to set a height for it too, because we want to make sure that it's like big enough. So we could do like 40, and then with 40, and then display. I believe it has to be inline. That display slash inline line. Okay, I believe it has to be this one. You might have to make it bigger because 40 might not be enough. Let's do 400. Too big. 80. And then see if this will work. Okay, so we'll figure out how to align the icons because there's some cool stuff that you could do with flags. So we could just figure that out later. So here, just take this and put it too much space. So then we could just put it here so we don't lose it, because if you refresh the dev tools, we pretty much lose everything. And then just rename this one to color1. Color1, and I think we need this one for now. Okay, that's the first one. Oh, I missed a semicolon. So we're back here. So okay, that's the first color. Now let's do the same thing for the next color. So I wonder if I do that, do I need to? Maybe for now I don't even need the color1. I would just hide it there to make sure that it was showing up. But maybe I could just do color2 and just like keep building different colors. And this will be helpful if we're using something like Sass too, because then if you're using Sass, you could just like reuse the components as variables too. But for now, I'm just going to copy this one over and put it here, and change this one here. Okay, so color2, and then color2 is this bluish color. So I can use that bluish color and see if that shows. Cool, yeah, so we can just keep doing that. So I'm just gonna do the next two colors, and then from there I could just go and do, we could start looking at the fonts. And we could use Google Fonts for that, because they have a ton of fonts that you could just, they will host it for you and you just have to reuse it. I think I have a font in mind that I like. Google uses it for their Chromecast. I like that one a lot. It looks very cool. Let's just create all of them now, so I don't. Also, if you see something very inefficient in my workflow, please let me know, because like I would like to make changes, but I don't know what to change after making so many changes to my workflow before. So like maybe like having a copy and pasting, like a buffer or something that keeps track of everything that I have copied, and then being able to reuse it later on. Okay, so we should have all our colors. Cool. And then we could then start messing with, let's just mess with this. H1. So, and then header 1. So this is kind of how a brand book is style. It's like just like going through like different ways that you could, like how different text will look like. So usually it's done in like Figma or something like that, but you could also do it like this. Okay, let's go font shopping. So these are good places to go find fonts when you need them. If you're making any website, you want to have like cool fonts for it. Google has this giant collection of fonts. Some of them are free, some of them are pay. But the one I want to use is this one, Roboto, which is the one that they use for the Chromecast. So if you have a Chromecast and you are hanging out in the in like the screensaver for it, is using this font for the clock, and it's using it for I believe it's also using it for the text. Cool, so let's figure out how to get this font in a way that I can just import it into the HTML. Let's make sure the licensing too. Okay, so we could use it because it's Apache too. So let's see how to get Okay, so I think it's kind of straightforward. So let's see. Google Fonts CSS import. I think they just have a API that you have to hit. So you are importing this CSS. Sorry, you're importing this JavaScript library, and then it will just download it for you. Oh, sorry, it's not a library. It's not a CSS library. Yeah, it is. Sorry. So you just have to set up like this. So we could try that out. So we could go here. And then here we could just put that there. Let's get rid of this space here. And then we could just start changing. I believe I just have to put the name of the font here. So let's just get a font that we want to try it out. So it's this one here. And then, okay, cool. And for H1, we could start styling H1. So for H1, so we could do something like font family, and then you could do something like Roboto, and then you could do font size. So we could do like 42, I believe. Start with that, and then just take it down as we go. Cool. So we could check if it's using our font that we want to use, and then cool. So it looks like it did download it. So this is how it looks. And then this is how H1 looks. So maybe we should look at H1 how it looks without the font or anything like that. Okay, so that's how it looks. And then if we add a font to it, we can just add it here, and just the family. What's the font? Family. Capital O. Cool. So yeah, so the default font is very like heavy and like a bit fat. But the new one is just like slimmer, so we can see that across the board. So we can do the same thing here and see how it changes. Font family. Cool. Yeah, so that's kind of how it looks. And then we can just take that, so we can just apply it to everyone. So let's apply everywhere else. I'm not going to change the size for now because I'm not sure how big I want each one of them to look like. But we should just apply the same font to everything. And then we can just style it differently. So I'm going to do the first 3 because I think that's the only ones that we need for this stream. And then just make another copy of this. Cool. So then I need to close that one. And then it will look something like that. So we have 1, 2, 3. I still need to figure out the sizes of it, but I will leave it for later. So this is the colors that we can use. This is how everything will look like. Maybe the one that I'm missing is a paragraph. Let's see how just a regular paragraph look like. So let's get some famous sample tests going. See if we could find something. Okay, so here's another tip. Most of the time, you need to have text to be able to see things working correctly. So if you want to see it correctly, there's this other website that I use a lot. So it's this one. It just auto generates text for you, and you could tell it how what kind of language you want to be, and like the different, like if you want different characters for it, and then you can use that text for, you can use that text to just like copy it anywhere, and like you could make it as big as you want, how many lines you want. It's just like you don't have to make the text yourself. It's just like the auto generated text, which is very nice. And then I can just like go back to my screen and just like paste it in there, and then like we have some text now in there, and then we could see, did I save it? I did not save it. And then you could go back here, and now you have some text, and then see how it looks, and then you could be like, oh, okay, so I want to apply my font, then my new font to it. So you just go, and then you could have like some nice, like the same font applied to everything, and you can see it like, okay, so this is how a paragraph will look like. This is how header 1 will look like. This is how header 2 will look like. Header 3 will look like. The only thing you have to figure out is like the different colors for it. Sorry, the different sizes, right? But for now, I'm not gonna worry about the sizes. I'm just gonna finish adding different fonts, and then I'm just gonna copy this over and just refresh it. So I'm making sure that we have it. Yep, we have it. And then, cool. For the stream side of things, for the starting one, we will need to do a couple of things. We need to center it, and we need to figure out which color from here we want to make the background. So like the background, I think right now, I think the background should be purple. But then it will be purple, and sure how the text will look like. We could play around it with the different colors and figure out what would be the best one. So I'm just gonna copy this chunk code for now, and so I'm gonna copy that chunk of code for now, and then I'm gonna put it inside of yeah, so I'm gonna copy it, and then I'm gonna put it inside of this starting page. So at some point I'm gonna just split it out and just like create better CSS files, but for now I'm just gonna keep going this way. Okay, cool. So now we have the different colors, but we only need the backgrounds. We just need to figure out the background. So this is the different colors that we have to play with. We don't need that, and we don't need this either. Okay, different colors. So we could start messing around with this. So we could do let's just use the main tag from HTML5, and this means like this is the main portion. And then we could use that main portion, and then we could just go and start like wrapping this in a h1 tag, and then seeing how it looks. Okay, and then cool. So here we go back once. Think the h, wait, what happened here? I might have messed up the tags. That's close. Oh, yep, I did. I didn't close the last tag, the style tag. Okay. Cool. So this is how it looks now. Oh, that is a weird animation. So every time I change workspaces, there's like it tries to do it in the window that I'm not in. Okay, so this is how it looks now. So okay, that's a good start. One thing we need to do is center it. So let's figure out how to center this using flex. So flex is this new thing that came out in CSS3, which is very cool because you don't have to worry about like different setups. Like you don't have to. It's easier to center things before you have to do a lot of things to be able to center it. So that doesn't work correctly. One website that I like using a lot is CSS Tricks because they have a giant guide of how to use Flexbox. So what we're looking for is for Flexbox. So for a Flexbox, you're able to do like different ordering and things like that. If you do React Native development, you've seen this before. They use it there a lot, but it's like super cool to use. So yeah, you could do centering like this, which is super straightforward. One will hope. Let's see if there's any examples for centering. Let's see. Okay, cool. So I think I just have to go back here. If that one does it. Nope, that's not the one. Let's try this one here and see if that one does it. Okay, I think I have to make the parent be flex first. So let's see the container. Let's figure out how to do the text. Let's see. Oh, I think it's a line. Let's try a line. See if that one does it. Turn this one back on and then just do align items center. Nope, not the one. I think I have to turn it on first. I think that's the thing I'm missing, is that you have to turn it on and like container flex. Okay. If so, yeah, it's in the parent, and then I think we have to do display flex. Okay, and we're doing something wrong here. So we have the container, which is main, and then we just have to take it and see if we could move it in a way that it centers everything inside of it. So that means that the starting soon should be moved to the center of the screen. So you could just keep looking at flex and see how you use it. So flex display, flex container. Let's see this here. So flex item. So flex. No. Also flex is used for if you're doing any like anything that is like responsive, you can use flex for it too, because you're able to like determine the order where they fall to. I might have to find somewhere else like with a bit better example around it. Okay, this might be the one. So the container is the parent one. Blue flex center. Flex container. So the flex container has no. I think I might be doing something wrong here. Flow right. Okay. Flow. Which is the default one. If it's the default one. So it's not that one. Well, this is how you learn CSS. CSS is horrible and hard to learn. It's just trial and error all the way. see if it doesn't work, and then you have to rewrap it, and then you rewrap it and see if it helps. Okay, so this one, can I see an example? No. So I think the one align content, it's just like for, oh yeah, that's what it's for. It's only for like the text inside. So like if I add a background, well, if I increase the height for it, let's increase the height of it. Increase the height for it. Wait, are you saying, wait? So I'm not taking advertising right now. So if you want to advertise, like I don't have the channel is very small, so I don't have that many people, so I don't think it's the right place to advertise right now. But yeah, maybe later. Thank you for the offer though. Okay, so back to figuring out how to align things in CSS. Let's see. I think, yeah, let's go back. So I think the way that align works is mostly around just, it's just the content itself, not the block itself. So I have to figure out how to do the block itself and how to align it. And then based on that, then I might be able to center it in the screen. So let's try that. See if we could figure it out. So yep, it was just missing the width. Let's see, and then let's just turn this off, and then do, let's see, wait, I think I'm just missing the width, so let's take this one off and that one, and then let's just give this one a width. Mass width. No. Maybe I can set up my width in our h1 tag. So let's see. Let's do something different. So let's see, let's just try center, and then so what is happening? The cliff note. So I am building my streaming setup as we go. I am using OBS for my streaming. So it looks something like this. And it lets you add sources, which are just browser sources. Give me a second. Yeah, so you could have a web page that is part of your stream. What I'm doing right now is just I am finding CSS. So this is how it looks. And then so you could just have any web page as being part of your stream. So you could, for example, have Google be part of your stream. What I'm doing right now is just finding CSS to be able to center this text. So I haven't done CSS in so long, and I'm trying to use something called Flexbox, which is something that came out in CSS 3, I think, which lets you center text in an easier way, but in reality it's just CSS as always, which is very hard for me to understand. So that's a cliff note. The cliff note is just me trying to center this text after I created a brand page. So like this is kind of like the colors that I want to use for my screen. So I found the different colors that go together with the first color here on the screen. So I use this website to find the patterns. So this website is very helpful to figure out like what colors go together. So like this, you have a color in mind that you want to use for a website and you don't know what other colors to pair with, you will use this website. So that's pretty much the Cliff Notes. So right now I'm trying to just take this, take the text that says starting soon, which is going to be the text that's going to be shown through the beginning of all the streams that I'm going to be doing forward, and then taking that and putting it in a way that I'm able to center the text for it. So I'm just like trying to do that. That's kind of like the whole gist here, the Cliff Note of it. So I'm trying to go like different steps for doing this. I trying to use Flex for it. Cool. So I am going to go back. If you have any if you have any tips on how to do it, tips are very welcome here as well. So we could learn as we go. Yeah. So that's kind of the whole gist. Is like I'm trying to learn as much as I can about CSS. I haven't really done CSS in a while directly without having to use something like Sass or like Sass or Bootstrap. So this is me trying to write raw CSS. So I'm trying to just like center the text. Oh, there we go, center. That is so weird. So so it looks like I had to. It all goes in the parent. So this is the one that I ran it. And then because I set the box into Flex, so I'm saying that this is going to be using the new Flex setup. And then that worked. So now I can just go back to my terminal. And just create like a new class for me. A new CSS class for it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what I'm trying to do. It's just pretty much, I'm going to be live streaming how to go and build like your own setup, like your own streaming setup, like the different screens that you want to show. Oh, one thing I missed to show you is just the dashboard that I'm using, but I could show you that later. Okay, so I think I updated. Yeah, I updated this. I have now a center, but I want to get it more now. Instead of center, I want to push it down to the bottom. Yeah, it is. So I roll a, so I can show you that. So before I started, so I have a set of libraries that I keep reusing, but they're not very well organized. So I have this thing called Kuma, which is just bear in Japanese. Wait, let me go back a couple of times. Yeah, so I have this thing called, it's just a set of libraries that I use for, just like I want to reuse. So I have the server here, which is just a HTTP server in Go, which is just like, it tries to do things which the Go library doesn't give you out of the box. It tries to give you a way to shut down your server in a graceful way. So that means that they say that you're turning off your computer or something like that, and so at the same time you're turning off your computer and you're getting a request, you get the request, right? But then you hit the request, but then when you hit the request, you wanted the request to be fulfilled before the server shuts down. So I added that here. Like the standard library supports it, but it doesn't do it by default. So what this utility tries to do as much as it can is to just set the best standards for running Go servers. So this is how you would run like a service or something in production, for example. So the thing that this is doing that the standard library doesn't do is that it creates a channel. So it creates like a channel called stop. So in Go, a channel, I'm not sure how much you guys know about Go, but in Go, there's ways to send messages between processors. So you're able to take a message from one Go routine. So threads in Go are called Go routines. So a Go routine is something that runs in parallel to another Go routine if you have enough CPU cores. If you have one, the scheduler does some weird magic where it makes it seem like it's doing parallel work, but it's not really doing it. Okay, so with a channel, you create a channel, and then you could pipe information to that channel. So for example, what I'm saying here is I'm creating a channel that is type signal. So this here, so it's type signal, right? And then here I'm saying that create a channel that is type signal, which only holds one value, one item. One cool thing about Go channels is that you could use them as a buffer. So that means like you could if you say that it could hold like 1,000, you could put 1,000 items into it, and it will not block until it gets to 1,000. So like you could use it as a messaging bus kind of setup. But back to this, you could I'm saying stop. So I'm creating a channel called stop here, and then that channel is then being passed to signal.notify, which signal is part of a goals is part of the Go internal library. So we could look at the documentation for it just very quickly. So this is the documentation for Go. So we can start from here. So the package that we are using is signal in the OS package. So we can find signal here. Cool. And so the best way to find documentation in Go, most of the time, is just to go here and look at the source code. But then there is also which has all the documentations for all the modules for all the packages. So you could just do let's see, signal, see if that one shows up. It might not show up. It does. So I thought it would not show up because it's a sub package. But so the way it works is that signal itself takes signal coming from the operating system, and then it's able to send that back into a channel. So this channel here, this function here that I'm using, takes a channel. Well, it takes a set of channels. So what it's saying here is like it takes one channel, but then you could pass. It takes one channel, and then you could pass as many signals as you want. So you could be like, if the program gets, let's see what signal it is. Yeah. So it could be like, oh, if it gets interrupted or if it gets killed, you want to know about it. You want your channel to get notified about it. Give me a second. So that program that I'm not paying for is notifying me every 20 minutes that I should buy it, and then messing with the music. So if you hear hissing, sorry about that. I will buy this program very soon. Okay, back to it. So notify sends a signal back. It sends a message to the channel, and then the channel, when it's ready, so if you do something like here, so line 37. So in line 37, we're saying wait until this channel returns. So it's gonna block here. So sorry, it's gonna block here in this line until it's gonna block until it gets a message. So first we're starting the server. So we're running this code here in this function, and so in Go, the way you start a Go routine is by using Go. So I'm starting a Go routine, just telling the Go scheduler, hey, run this function, but run it in a separate thread. So don't run it in the current main thread that I'm running the program, run it in a separate one. And then since it's doing that, I could then start the server. And when I start the server, line 26 here is a blocker. So it's gonna block until it finishes. So this is the one that's starting the server and it's running. So you could see the server down here running. So it's just listening and waiting for it to keep going. And then, so that's kind of where it starts. And since it's running a Go routine, it just runs in the background. So as long as it's like, if it doesn't get any request for a while, it will be put to sleep until a request comes in and it wakes up again. That's one of the cool things about the Go scheduler. It makes things go to sleep when they're not being used. So this one starts it, and then since it's sending everything to a Go routine, it doesn't block, it just keeps going. And then this function, this channel here, this line here is the one that's blocking the program. So this line here is saying, hey, if an item gets put into the stop channel, then continue to the next step. And the next step will be to check if the server is running. So if it's running, it's gonna try to stop it by calling shutdown. And the cool thing about it is that the way shutdown works, this is also part of this part of the standard library of Go. Is a way for you to shut down the server. So shut down the server does two things. First, Go has this concept of context, which is a way for you to pass information like, oh hey, if this request takes more than 20 minutes, times it out. Or hey, this thing's supposed to finish in like 5 milliseconds. If it doesn't finish in 5 milliseconds, just stop it from running. So that's kind of how context work. You could add more information for it, but that's kind of too advanced for now. So you pass the context to the shutdown function, which we could just go into we could just look at what it does. Let me find it. Okay, so yeah, we could find it here, same way. So it gets a signal that says interrupt, and then when it gets the signal, it's gonna go into the shutdown function, which is part of the HTTP package. Yep. I want the function itself. Okay, no, that's a function that runs in shutdown. Okay, shutdown itself. Okay, so shutdown itself is a great way to shut down a Go server. And just by grateful, I mean that, again, if a request is being handled right now, it's just gonna wait until that request gets fulfilled before it shuts down. So like the whole goal is that you don't want it halfway through like a file upload or something like that to just like kill the server, and like now you have bad information in your database, for example, or in your local file storage. So you don't want to do that at all. So you want it always to complete the request that you're handling. So this is what shutdown does. So shutdown itself, when you call shutdown, it just goes through it. And it does like some magic in the background, and then like it checks all the open connections. So it goes through. So first it calls a bunch of functions. So there was a function above that said like register shutdown functions. It calls them, and then it just starts ticking, right? It just starts going through every single connection that is open right now, and it checks for them to be closed. And then here's when context comes to play. So let's say that this thing takes forever to close the connections. It will be like, okay, so this is taking too long, so then it's gonna kill it. And then it's gonna return an error saying like, hey, this request was closed because a contest took too long. So that means that if you have like a long running process that takes like 5 minutes and your timeout for closing the connection is like a minute, then you might end up getting an error from this. So usually you want to make sure that you know how long each request takes before you set a grateful shutdown timeout. But yeah, so that's kind of how it is the special thing that this wrapper that I roll is doing. It's just like setting up that specific logic there where I'm able to, I don't really need it for the local setup, but it's a nice way to just, I could take this code and build a production server as I go. So that's one of the cool things about this setup that I have right now. But yeah, this whole thing is running in Go. Yeah, so the files themselves are being served from, so if you want to look at the final call, so the final call for this server that is serving this file here, sorry, not that file, that's served. So yeah, so this overlay like coming soon is being served from that Go server that I'm just gonna show now. So the Go server that I'm running right now is using my utility setup, which is just creating the server, and then I'm using this thing called serve mutes. So this here allows you to add paths to your Go routes. The only issue with them is that you cannot really do fancy stuff. Oh, sorry. The only issue here is that you cannot really do fancy stuff. Like you cannot do something like, if you're used to Express, you could do something like colon ID or something like that, right? So serve Muse doesn't allow you to do that. You have to use something other packages, which I might use later on. But for now, it does what we need, which is just like serve you give it a path, serve a set of files. So here I'm just starting the Go standard library comes with two things. So it comes to serve Muse, and then it comes with a file server. So a file server, you give it a directory a path to a directory, right? And then you from that path from the directory, you could then feed that into it. So I have used Gin before. The thing I feel like is so heavy. So the one I use most of the time for routing in Go is people. I don't even know how people feel about it. Like I get mixed feelings. Like every time I ask someone, they're like, "Oh, yeah, it's very cool," or "Oh, that's so weird. Why don't you use like Gin or Gorilla?" Sorry, I ended up spelling it incorrectly. So like I always get like mixed feelings about it. So like I don't know, like, so I usually just stick with this one. So this is the one that I go to all the time. It's called HTTP router. The only thing with HTTP router is that doesn't I will give you an example in a bit, but it has some like weird quirks when it comes to the paths, which if you do Express.js, you're gonna hate it. But here's how it works, right? So you could do things like this, right? So you could be like get, and then you pass a colon name, and then you could get the name as a param. So you get something like that. So this is what I use most of the time, and it just does most of the time it's just doing the routing and doesn't do anything else. But yeah, I looked at Gin before. It's like super heavy when it comes to like how it manages some of like the sessions and like things like that. I think it also has like a web socket server built into it. So there's Gin, but there's also Gorilla, which I also heard about it a lot, which is supposed to be good, but I haven't used it because again, it's like my use cases are very simple. I don't need to do things like this, like matching sub domains and things like that. And then like there is one that okay, so here's an example of things that HTTP route doesn't support. Let's go back to the terminal so I could show you. So let's say that you have if you're using, let's just for now just fake it. Let's just do handler, and then you could do handler, and you want to do something like, oh, I want to match everything like this, right? That works. And you could just call like a function that does something with that information. That works, right? But like now let's say that you want to do like, oh, but I also want to, let's use this one. I also want to serve files like this, right? So HTTP router doesn't let you do this at all. Like this will never work, right? Because it's like, oh wait, you're matching everything here. Like you're doing this thing here. Why are you doing this? Like you're saying that you want everything here. You want to do a wildcard search, but then you're telling me like you want to overlay here. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. So it just like refuses to do it. Even when it starts up, it panics. And it's like, yeah, I don't know how to handle this. I'm not gonna handle this because I'm trying to be efficient. So it doesn't. I don't think it uses regex. It just does like a tree, like a decision tree for routing. So that's one of the things that it does. So yeah, it's very simplistic when it comes to like the routing, and it's not like Gorilla Mux, which you could pass like regex to it. So you could do like you could match. Yeah, you could do something like this, which is like I only want numbers. So like, these are only numbers, and I only want to see numbers when it comes to it. And then that means like it does like some regex parsing while it handles your routes. Again, I haven't had a need for this. Like I'm okay with getting like a string as it comes through, and then converting it if I need to. So like that's kind of the thing that I've been struggling to realize. Like no one has told me like most of the things I looked at is like, well, I kind of don't really need that when it comes to like Gin and Gorilla Mux. But like for HTTP routes, like the only thing I need is like, so if I could, I would use the default one. So if it would let me do, if the default package from sorry, give me a second, let me go back to where it was. So if this router management system from the standard library will let me just like do calling name for programs and things like that, I will stick with this one because I don't need anything else, right? If it let me do like that name or like something like that, I would just keep using it. But it doesn't let me do that, so I use HTTP route because like the standard library doesn't do what I wanted. So like, and then I want something simpler. So I'm stuck between like using Gin or Gorilla Mux or just using HTTP route. So HTTP route wins for me. But if I ever need to do anything like fancy where it comes to ID and things like that, I will probably use Gin or HTTP route. Sorry, Gin or Gorilla Mux. So I will probably pick Gorilla Mux because that's the one that most people are using. That I have seen. Cool. So I think I lost track of what I was doing. Okay, so I was explaining if this was being served by Go. Cool. I think I did that. Then we talked about the different routing libraries and how there's just like so many of them, but like some of the cases that you need are very simple. So you don't have to use heavy ones. So one thing that I kind of didn't mention is like one thing that I try to do in Go is like be as fast as possible, even if what I'm doing is not very it's not going to production, right? It's like the way I'm thinking about it is like if whatever I bring in, whatever package I bring in is going to create latency or it's going to make things slower or it's going to use more memory, I try to avoid it as much as I can. There is a cost for using a HTTP route, like it uses a bit more memory, but then that's when it serves the request is way faster. So that's kind of the trade-offs that you have to do there. Cool. So yeah, so this is what is serving the file. So you can see that it's sending the directory. So this here just sends a file struct back into the file server. So then it just looks at the directory, and then I'm saying here, anytime a user goes to the overlays path, serve then the file system, but first strip down, like take off the path for it. So it's kind of like a weird thing that you have to do because if you don't do this, the way it will look like, it will look something like this. So it will look like overlays, and then the file name. I believe that's kind of how it looks. So what I want to do is like I want to remove. No, I think it looks like this. Yeah, it looks like this. And what the HTTP server wants is just a file name. So that's kind of what it's doing there. And then I'm starting my server. So the server that I built around like the Go files. Sorry, I got around the Go standard library. So this is pretty much what it's doing. And then I'm calling star and wait. So that function that I was showing you before, which starts the HTTP server. And then it waits until it gets stopped. And then it checks. And then if it gets killed, it's just going to shut it down. Then that's pretty much what it does, right? Oh yeah. So there's something else that you might find interesting. So there is Gin and there is also Martini. So if you want an HTTP library, Go has like drinks names attached to it. So there is back in the I think it was around like 2000 and something, 2010 or something like that. There was something called Martini. Let me see if I can find it. So the thing that happened with Martini was that there was a whole like uproar, like a war, because people were saying that it was not idiomatic. So one thing that Go programmers strive for is idiomatic Go. So if something is not idiomatic, it's probably gonna be very painful for the community to pick up. So Martini was the first Go framework created for Go back in 2014, I think, or something like that. I can't remember. But it was very famous. It was pretty much everyone that was doing Go was using it. But at some point, people started noticing that it did things weird, where it was like everything was like in a weird kind of like it felt like everything was anonymous functions, for example. And people were like, "This is not idiomatic." So why are you doing things like that? Like this thing. Hey, how's it going? I'm just right now ranting about Go frameworks. So this is we went through Gin, Gorilla, and now we're in Martini. So Martini was a framework that was created in around like 2013, 2012. It was one of the first Go frameworks. It just didn't feel idiomatic at all. So like anonymous functions are only not used that much. Like it just feels like overkill to use so many anonymous functions, especially like how they handles it, right? So like this is like how you set a status code for your request, and then you pass something like this, and this is gonna be the response. So like you could do that for JSON too. No, it's fine. Like this is totally fine. I'm okay with ranting for a while. Like I'm gonna stream until like 30 more minutes, and then I'm gonna turn it off. But like I'm okay with ranting for a while. Like so like I'm here to talk and like go through the whole like learning and different things like that. So I'm okay with ranting for a bit. And then we're gonna go back. So this is me distracting myself from the CSS. So this is helpful because I have to go back to doing CSS, and it's so like I find it very tedious. So thank you for derailing me, because you're saving me from CSS. Yeah. So there's Martini, Gin, and Gorilla Mux, and then HTTP router. So yeah, it also depends on the people too. Like there's another framework. I think it's called Buffalo. So this one tries to be like a bit like Rails, but I have my own grip against Rails, so I don't know much about this one. But it does pretty much what Rails does, but it adds a bunch of things to make it like a Go thing. It also has like ORMs. Most people know how I feel about ORMs. So there is like an ORM, there is like cookie management, like all these different things that comes together. Most of the time I just build in a RESTful API. I only need the route. And then most of the time I'm like embrolling my queries. No, I do not love ORMs, man. I feel like they're so magical, and they teach people how to write SQL queries. So learn how to write a SQL query. So yeah, I have a grip against ORMs. I feel like they're overkill too, right? Because like if you don't know how. Again, going back to my first like idea, is like I want things to be fast, and if I let an ORM write my SQL query, I don't know how fast that query is gonna be. And then if I want to make it fast, I will have to rewrite it myself. Like why not write it myself the first time and then just like optimize it as I go, since I understand it better. Like that's my grip with ORMs. I am definitely gonna buy this program, right? Because like at this point, it's nagging me so much that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy it. Okay, so I restarted. So we have 20 more minutes before he asks me again. And then I will kill the stream after that. But yeah, so yeah, I feel like ORMs are overkill. And the same thing with that's pretty much the same thing with so there's ORMs that are overkill, and then same thing with the session management, right? So like I kind of don't need a WebSocket yet. So I think we would need a WebSocket client to talk to the Twitch API when we're doing some Twitch development. I think I'm gonna do that in the next stream after I get some of the CSS stuff worked out. But I will probably figure out if there's like a goal. So the rule of thumb that I follow for Go is like if there is like one a package that is part of the internal library that does a bit of WebSocket, I'm gonna use it. So like for example, this package here is part of the standard library. The only issue might be that they don't have things in there. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, you know what used to do that? Subline. Some like subline text used to be free, but it would nag you from time to time to buy it. It became so annoying that I will see the pop-up every 3 hours or 2 hours, and it got so annoying that I would just end up buying it. So it works perfectly. It's like, oh, I still have it too. I think there's a new one. There's a new version of it, but I haven't updated to it. Oh, you haven't paid for it yet? I did cave. I cave. I cave really bad. Like I cave very bad. So this is an example here. So this is our GoX package, which just means that it's not really well. It's not part of the standard library, so it might keep changing and it's not very well supported. Dude, you've been doing that for 5 years? You're intense, dude. I only handled like 3 months before I caved and I paid for it. It was so annoying. Like you be at it and then it automatically just like comes out and just be like, hey, you should pay for it. Oh yeah, I wouldn't go that far because like I don't trust any like weird tool running on my computer to do something like that. One of the things that was work, it's like for work too. So like it's just better to buy it instead of like running as something else to get the pop-up to go away. That would be the only thing. Yeah. So okay. So this package here is part of the internal library. Santos library, but it's part of the X package, which just means that is still worked on and it's probably never going to make it into the standard library directly. But one thing that comes to mind is like they're pointing you somewhere else. So like there's some features that are missing. So they're like, hey, you could use this package here from Gorilla, or you could use this package here. So I have looked at the Gorilla one before. I find it overkill too, so I might look at this one. But we might end up using this one for connecting to the Twitch API. So like if people start following me, or if people start like doing different things like that, we could see that. One thing that I haven't seen is like there's like different ways to handle this information. So and also I have 2 new followers that started following me during the stream and I didn't notice, and this is why I have to build these kind of tools, right? So I want to make sure that the follower names show up somewhere in the stream saying welcome to them. So that would be one of the things that we need to use as WebSocket for, because of the Twitch API. So we could look at that a bit too before I kill the stream. The Twitch API is very cool because it uses an RSC. If I wanted to get a chat like in real time and stream it somewhere else, I could just connect to the RSC channel for this channel, and then I'm able to forward somewhere else. So that's kind of cool. But you could do like pop-sub subscriptions. But what we will need to do, which I was looking at before, is a way for us to get a real-time event. So when someone subscribes, or when someone when someone subscribes or someone follows me, I want to be able to put it in the screen, saying like so and so follow me or something like that. So I will have to look into that. I will do that as part of the stream too. But there's also cool things that you could do here, which I didn't know. Like you could do like embedded. You can embed your things into the stream, like a plugin or things like that. Also, do you guys like the music? Are you hearing the music? Because I can hear the music. So if you're hearing the music and you're liking it, no, you're not hearing the music. Let's see. Why you're not hearing the music? Okay, let's see if I could get it to. Okay, can you hear it now? Yeah, you can hear it now. So the reason why you couldn't hear the music was because of that program that keeps nagging me. Okay, it might be too low. Is it too low? How about now? Okay, what is better? Is it this better, or is it better here? Like I don't want it to be too loud, but okay, I want to make sure that you could hear me, but it's not too distracting. It's just a gap filler. Maybe I slide it. Okay, I can do that. Let's see. Okay, is that better? Cool. Okay. Yeah, so the music itself, I'm using it as just like gap fillers when I'm looking to something. Sorry you couldn't hear it. Maybe the main issue that you couldn't hear it is because of that the software just kept asking. But I found this playlist that was done by like a DJ. Chris might like this music. So it's the kind of music that he would recommend. So Lisa, I hope you like this music. So this is kind of the music that I was looking at. But yeah. You need that white noise, man. You need that white noise. Okay, sorry. Also, do you hear my breathing? I don't want you guys to hear my breathing either. So let's get me to affiliate so I could get myself a nice mic. Yeah. So so the stuff that I want to do for the channel. So first I want to do more Go. That's kind of thing's first goal. I want to rant about random things like ORMs in frameworks. So if you have any comments or want to get my opinion on anything and you want to get a rant out of me, just ask about something that you might think I might like or feel strong about it. The other thing I want to do is I want to do more HTML and CSS. I haven't done that much in the past couple of years, so I want to go back to it because I know CSS3 is really cool. So I want to do that as part of like building the string, and then I might work on some of my side projects that might need me to do CSS too, so it'll be nice. And look into Sass as well. And then like integrate into like third-party APIs. So that's kind of how the stream will be mostly. So starting not next week, but the following week, it will become like a daily thing. For like 2 hours between like 2 and 4, I would just like hang out in the stream for 2 hours while working on something. And then I'm also debating if sometimes I might not just I might just be like hanging out and just like show like a browser or something and just like browse things. And then I was also thinking about doing a Discord, so let me know if you would like to hang out in Discord so I could hear you guys. I could hear you guys rant about things as well, and you don't have to rant about it in chat. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if I want to use that one, because if I use that one, then I will have to let strangers into that one, and I'm not sure how the owner of that one will feel. But something like that might have a better name though. There's nothing wrong with that name, but I don't publicly want to associate it with that name. It's like I would not say someone's name. Yeah, more PC name. Yeah. He might yell at them. He's well known for that too. He's well known for yelling at people when they join his Discord channel too. Especially like little kids. Sure. Also, I want to stream games too, so I could do that too. Well, he just wanted to talk to you. I don't know. Like, he just wanted to make friends. So, yeah. Don't scream at little kids in your Discord channel. The only thing I'm worried about the Twitch API mostly is just because like I don't know how it works well with local development or a server running locally. Like, how would that work? Yeah, I'm still trying to avoid CSS. I promised I would do more CSS, but like after having to, it took me like 10 minutes to center this. Like 10 minutes to center this. Like it would take me a month to write this thing, right? I still need to push it down to the bottom, so maybe I should do that in the next like 10 minutes. See, I will do CSS for you. I will do 10 minutes of CSS, then I will cut the live stream and then go play some games, and then maybe stream it later on, but not today. That's the next thing I want to do. I want to play a bit of games and like stream it at the same time. Like I want to play a bit of what is that? There is like Colonist, which is like it's like a tower defender game, which I like a lot. Okay, so for you, I'm gonna do the last piece of CSS and see if that helps. Nope. Okay, I think I have to make the view. Let's just make this one bigger. Mass. See, max height. See, I can escape the CSS, so I want to do. Let's do 800 for now and see if it pushes this down. No. See, this is the thing. It's like you think like, oh, it's gonna work. It's gonna push the element down, and it just doesn't do anything. It just like stays there. It's like, why is it not pushing it down? But also, you could just, if you have any tips of CSS, just let me know. That's like, it's painful. It's painful. Very painful. I thought of that one, but I think I need to do that to the body itself. Like, I push the body to 100%, and then I want it center, but at the in the screen itself. So you see how it says it's center on the top. I want to center it in the middle of the screen. So I want to put it like right here, like somewhere in there. So I just have to figure out how to push the body down. Again, CSS is very intense. I feel the people that do CSS really good. I'm always very impressed by them. Like, always. There's someone that I know that is really, really good at CSS. Like, oh, there we go. See, it's like a Jinso Paso. It's like, where do you have to put it? It's like where you have to put it. Okay, so I think I got it with like. No, that one will do it. So I did max height here. Then I'm gonna do max height here. Let's see if that works. Let's do 100. It doesn't work there. So max height here, max height here. So I got 100 here, and I have 100 here, and then what did I miss? Like 100. It's like, why does it have to be so confusing? But here's the thing, the more you do it, the easier it gets. That's what I've been told. So there's still hope for me and my weak CSS skills. This is why I use Bootstrap, right? I don't have to worry about it. I just add a class to it, or I just have to send a class that already has it. Maybe that's what I should do. I just go look into Bootstrap and see how they do it. But that could get scary very soon. Like, there's so much extra stuff there. So I have a height. Wait, what if I give it a, instead of 100%, what if I just give it a real height? How come I cannot change it? Can I change it? Let's do. Okay. Let's do. Oh. Okay, so why doesn't the percent work? I guess there's nothing to push it, so. Okay, so real high works. I'm not sure why the percentage doesn't work. So if I do percent, it just doesn't work at all. What if I do 50? Oh, you know what? You know what is happening? I'm just fighting the browser's default height. Wait, is that needed? Oh, dude. Yeah, that did it. Okay, so I am guessing it's because I'm having all this weirdness because I am not. Yeah, so there we go. Thank you so much. I think I'm having all this weirdness. It's just because I'm using the default. Like, I'm not resetting it. So maybe that's what I need. I need a way to reset the CSS for the browser. So like there is this thing that browsers do where they try to apply their own stylings, and then over the years people have been doing their own like reset CSS, which lets you reset a CSS. It's like sometimes it's like massively huge. So for example, like there is this one here, which people have been using. Is like it's just huge. So this thing here is supposed to reset like all the CSS tags and like all the different weirdness that happens over time across all the browsers. So you use something like that to reset the CSS. So like it helps you like a lot because you don't have to worry about like the different tags, like how will it look. If I open this in Chrome, or sorry, in Firefox, it will probably look way different than it's supposed to look like. So I will probably just throw a reset there. Things like Bootstrap and like some other CSS frameworks just do it from the beginning. So I just need to figure out if which one to use, because some of them are like they're very big and like hairy to use. But yeah, so thank you for that suggestion. That definitely did it. So now we have so because we added a high of 100 to the 100% to the HTML tag itself. That means that the whole tag is taking everything. Yeah, it used to be popular. I'm not sure what people are using nowadays. Like I haven't had to do this thing since like 2012 or something like that, 2013. So I'm not sure what's popular, but I used to use something like that. That did it. So I'm pretty sure that it does this for me automatically, where it sets the HTML tag height automatically for me. Okay, so to recap what I did, and thanks for the suggestion. This is Jack of Lantern. So I set the HTML tag to have a height of 100%. So that means I'm just gonna take the whole page. So whatever is in the string and more is gonna show up there. And then I also gave the body a height of 100%. So that means that the body itself is also gonna take 100%. Sorry, it's gonna take 100% of the screen. And then I made sure to give. So this one doesn't need to be 100. I believe I could do the 100, but I could also do like 50% to get a bit higher. But this also has a height of 100, so that means that it will be centered right in the middle of the page. Oh, hey, I was guessing it was you, but I was trying to figure out if it was really you. What is HB? Oh, is that a new measurement? Like, what does it do? Like, I've seen that one before, but I don't know what it does. Oh, vertical height. Is there a benefit of using that one versus using just straight up high? Ah, cool. See, there's a bunch of tags that I don't know what they do. Is let's try the vertical one. So see how that goes. Wait, what's the name of it? Is that a... Oh, so it's just like I could just do 100 BH. Oh, okay. Is there any benefit? Like, what is the benefit of this? Oh. Oh, okay. So do I need to do this one here? So let's try that. So I guess you're saying that I could just do... Oops. Oh, okay. I get it. Okay, so I don't need the high one. I don't need this one. What do I need to one there either? Can I just do it here in main? Oh yeah, I could just do main. So I could just do height 100 pH. Cool, I didn't know that was a thing. So you're saying that if I take this window and I resize it. Oh wait, I don't have to do that. I could just resize it through here. Oh, still stays in the center. And then I could do like a iPhone. Okay, cool. So we're making this responsive as well as we go. Oh, are you having issues? I also see the browser. Yeah, I also see the browser. So I changed my setup to show the desktop as a whole. Oh, that's weird. Why did it freeze? Okay. Hope it's back. But yeah, thank you for the help with that. I think I would look more. I would take a look at what that does. Very possible. Yeah, they could be having issues. Okay, so there is that. So I could just copy that. Let's just copy this whole file and just be like, just use this whole thing. Oh, I could also do templating. So that would be the cool thing that we'll be doing next. It's just how to do templating. So I could do templating and then I could reuse most of the things. So, just do come back soon. Just why not? Okay, what did we name this? So we named it ending. We don't need this anymore. And ending. Oh, why did you guys think that I should make my background? Which color should I make my background? So here's the colors you get to pick from. This yellowish green, turquoise blue, salmon. So I don't know which one is salmon. Is it this one here? Can you see my mouse? Yeah, this one here. This one. We could just try it out. So, oh, dude, salmon. I will definitely go with the pink one. Cause why not? Okay, let's go with the pink one. Give me a second. You might be hearing noise. Okay. Okay, so let's go with a background. Let's go with color 4 or 3. 4. The 4. Okay. Yeah, I agree. So this is a new color. Maybe make the other one a bit different color. I'll be down like after this is done. If that person that sent me a text message is around and watching the stream, I will be there in like 10 more minutes. Cool. Okay, so now we have to go back to. So I am adding the end of the stream. So I have a nice template for the end of the stream. Again, so I'm using OBS to manage this whole streaming setup that I have. Right now you're seeing a black screen because I don't have anything in this scene. So let's just share my whole desktop for now. Sharing my whole desktop. Wait, doesn't let me change it. So I'm gonna add a new browser scene. And then, ooh, that's not what I want. It's kind of interesting to try to do a live stream while trying to mess around with your live streaming software. Okay, so I'm adding a new source, making this the size of the monitor, and I want it to go away. Cool. So I got that. So let's wait a few minutes. Okay. So this is the end of my stream. Thank you guys for watching. I wanted to try the raid setup. So I might try to raid someone. I don't know who's streaming that is coding. So I want to send you guys to someone that's coding, even if you guys want to watch for a bit. Or no, that person is not streaming. Okay, so this guy is streaming. So if you guys want to learn about BIM, and this guy is really good with BIM, he's way better than I am, and he has been teaching people how to do BIM. So I think you guys should go say hi to him. He's probably streaming around, I think last time I checked he was streaming about how to use BIM and how to create BIM scripts. So yeah, so it would be cool if you guys go say hi. And enjoy his BIM skills because he's really good at BIM. I will see you guys next time. So probably maybe Sunday of next week, and then every day for the next couple of weeks.